No, we're excited to get to play somebody else. We've had a couple scrimmages. It's been pretty physical. We're getting beat up by each other, and so we're looking forward to our exhibition with UCLA on Friday night. Tickets still available. Obviously, we're playing it for NIL purposes, trying to raise money for the program. And so if you haven't got season tickets, there are tickets available for you to come and watch the Aztecs play nationally ranked UCLA team to kind of open our schedule as far as a competition outside of ourselves.
Dutch, how do you compare this exhibition with fans on hand, maybe more formality to it, than the exhibitions you would have had with UCLA in the past, closed door?
It adds the element of extra emotion to me. When the crowd's into the game, you get into the game. And so as much as coaches, we like to keep it business on the court, there is an emotional component to it when you play in front of fans. And so I'm sure Coach Cronin's excited to see how his team will respond in what will be a difficult environment. Whenever you come to Viejas, it's difficult. And so we'll see how our team responds where I don't start seeing things outside of what I see in practice, where they don't get caught up in the emotions and get out of character with how they play. So that's the beauty of playing a game like this in front of fans, that not only do you see your team, but you get to see how they perform in an environment that we always have at Viejas.
And the fact that it is in front of fans, will it add any more weight to this contest, or will winning the exhibition be any more important in regards to, power rankings, that kind of thing?
I don't think so. I mean, obviously from a national perception, when people actually get to see it, they'll try to see how close we are to a UCLA. I mean, we'll be outside of the rankings probably to start the season, but people are excited about Aztec basketball. So anytime you get to play a team that is perceived to be stronger than you are in a particular season, it's good for you to measure yourself and let the nation kind of see what we're about to start our season. And with that being said, we'll play everybody that's available. We'll play 11 bodies in this game, and even though we'll play to win, we play every possession. You're playing to win the possession, so we'll play to win the possession and win the game. But with that being said, we'll play everybody on the roster to give them some minutes and see what they're like in that type of situation.
Coach, it's been a few weeks since you talked to us. You're starting the practice. At this point, are you better familiar with the rotations and starting lineups at this point than you were a few weeks ago?
I'm a little bit more comfortable with some of the personnel, who's playing well together and who's rising. With that being said, I'm not sure who will start against UCLA yet. We'll watch some practice. Bird has been out with an abdominal strain, so he's missed almost a week of practice. So he won't go today. He'll do some shooting and working out, and then maybe get into some contact stuff on Wednesday at the earliest. We're taking tomorrow off. So we'll see kind of where he's at and whether I'm comfortable throwing him out there right away or just getting him some minutes based on how he comes back from his injury. And then obviously Magoon won't be playing. He heads back to the doctor on the 16th to get reevaluated one last time, and then hopefully his progression to playing will ramp up a little bit. What that means, I don't know how soon he's ready to go, but hopefully we'll get him on the floor. Right now he's just rehabbing still. I mean, he's running. If you were to watch him run and shoot, you would think he would be able to play. But obviously there's a physical component to it where you start going against other players and getting your timing back. And so hopefully this appointment he has on the 16th will give us a little bit more insight into when we'll have him back.
How the transfer Newcomer is kind of simulated into the roster, the school, and what's the outlook for them this coming season?
Yeah, all the newcomers, the freshmen. I like my freshmen. They're doing a good job. From not playing college basketball, come in here, and both Tay and LZ have done a really good job in practice and contributed at a high level. The transfers, now they're getting a look at what it's like to be at San Diego State. The physicality of it, the length. And so there's an adjustment period even for them. Guys that have played 5 years of college basketball, there's still an adjustment period for them. But I like where they're at. I think they're making steps in the right direction. But obviously their best basketball is still ahead of them.
Feels like a lot of players and coaching staff in the offseason mentioned how much depth you have specifically with this team and how it's the deepest it's been in years, which is a crazy thing to say. Can you just speak to that and the interchangeability of those players?
Yeah, we had a Mesa event for our givers. They came and watched a practice, and at the end, well, first of all, I told them it was like having a board meeting. I'm speaking to the board because they're contributing to Aztec basketball, a shareholder meeting. And so I asked them, I said, I'll have a suggestion box by the exit. You put your starting 5 down. And they got a good laugh out of it because the difference between a starter and a non-starter is so small. So that's a good thing and a bad thing. You know, we have a lot of talent. We have a lot of depth. And we have to find a way to use that to our advantage, not just to play him, to say, well, we have to play a guy because we feel bad. We're going to play our best players. But if our best players and our best team ends up being 9 or 10 deep because we can wear our opponent down, that's what we're going to do to win. Because at the end of the day, my only stat I'm concerned with is winning games. And so whatever they're able to do to help us win as a team and as a university, that's what rotation will play.
The team that went to the national championship was pretty deep too, but in a different way, a lot of older guys. How do you compare that team to this year's team?
Obviously, that team was special. But when you're bringing Jaden Ledee off the bench, who a year later would be the Karl Malone winner, and you're bringing Ucla Rope off the bench, who is a starter any other day of the week, Adam Seiko, a 6-year senior, that depth was incredible. And actually, you could argue that the guys off the bench may have been better than the starters. So that's about putting a team together, chemistry, and who can accept what role and embrace that role. So sometimes I tell them, if you get so frustrated with your role or how you're playing that when your opportunity comes, you're not ready to seize it, that's on you. So play through your frustration, play through being not a starter, play through not playing the minutes you think you deserve, through the points you want to score. You got to play through all that so when your moment comes, you're ready for your moment, and then that can springboard you. So my biggest job this year is to keep the team focused mentally, to keep them out of feeling a sense of frustration when they're not doing the things they know they're capable of because they're on a really good team.
Coach, what's it like having Reese back this season? What kind of impact has he made so far?
Yeah, Reese is getting better and better. He looks strong. He looks mature. I like how he's defending. And now he's got to get comfortable where and when to take his shot. You know, he's a gifted shooter. So he shot well in the scrimmage this last Saturday. His percentage is going up. And I'm excited to have Reese back in the lineup.
Kind of back to the transfer point, how do you and your staff go about recruiting these transfers from non-Power 4 conferences, and how do you coach them up to kind of get them ready for Sdsu basketball?
Yeah, we make sure they want to come here for the right reason they're coming here to win. You know, they've been in other programs, but they haven't won at the level they wanted to win at. So if their goal is to win, then they're willing to come here to sacrifice to win. They don't come here saying, well, I scored this many points at this school, I'm going to score as many or more with you. They're coming here to be part of a good team, to get better individually, and then to help us win at a high level.
Coach, you mentioned Tay already, but what specifically has impressed you about Tay Simmons?
Tay is a big, big freshman. Maybe not height-wise, but width-wise. He's got big shoulders. He's super strong. So most freshmen don't play because they're not ready for the physicality. You know, Tay's ready for the physicality. He's got strength and size, and he's got a mental toughness about him that hopefully as the season goes on, all that will show through.
You've had so much success in the Mountain West. Do you get nostalgic at all of this conference and that you're kind of leaving it behind?
Yeah, well, we're the all-time championship leader in the Mountain West. San Diego State is titles, both regular season and postseason. So we'd like to add 1 or 2 more before we leave. So that's our goal. It is every year to hang a banner, and so we'd like to make this season in the Mountain West our best.
Have you been able to put your finger on anything that the program or as a coach or the players lacked, because you were a couple of years removed from the national championship game? What does it take to get past that point where you've made the last game and you've won it?
Talent, coaching, discipline, sacrifice, all those things. You know, you're not going to, I could be the same coach. I am the same coach. But it was nice running out there with the players I had on that team. They made me look good. And I helped them put them in that position. So hopefully I've recruited enough talent with my coaching staff that we can put a good team together again. And we don't know that yet, you know. How good is Magoon going to be? You know, he got hurt with 7 games ago. Arguably, he was making strides to be a first-round draft pick. So is he going to come back like that after missing a full, 6.5, 7 months of playing? Reese, he's coming back after missing a full year. How's Reese going to be? How will Bird be in his 4th year in the program? Will he have made the next step? So we have good pieces, but they all have to get better individually, and then they have to get better as a team. So that's part of the journey. You never really know until you step out there and start competing, and then even if you're not playing well at the start, you can gel at the end. And make a run in November or in March. So we're looking forward to another journey, finding all those answers out.
And Dutch, impressions of Latrell Davis and how he's assimilating into the program.
Latrell can get downhill. A lot of guys, you might say, boy, that's a tough shot. And usually when you say that, they're jump shots. Latrell, you say that's a tough shot, but at least he's at the rim. He lives at the rim. He can get to the rim anytime he wants, off penetration. So he's got to seize on those opportunities to play downhill basketball. And still, like he does, he's a good shooter. He had five assists and 1 turnover in the scrimmage. So Latrell's playing good basketball too. So we have an abundance of talent, and now we have to find which ones are able to play together and win for San Diego State.
But you talked about Bird and Walk coming back, flirting with the NBA draft. What does that say about your coaching staff, but also the Aztec basketball program? Having them come back.
Yeah, it says we're able to take guys that may not be 5-star McDonald's All-Americans and see something in them that you say this guy can be an NBA player someday. If he stays on the right path, we work with him, whether it was a Keyshawn Johnson, who's in the NBA right now with Miami. Keyshawn out of high school wasn't a 5-star recruit, but he had 5-star talent and a motivation. And he played, was a starter on our national championship runner-up team. And so we find pieces like that other people overlook. They don't see their upside. So we don't get a lot of 5-stars, but the guys we get have 5-star talent and 5-star upside.
A lot of the new guys have talked about Miles kind of taking on the leadership role on this team and his growth in that department. What have you seen from him there and how he can be one of, if not the leader of this team?
Yeah, he's trying. He's trying to be verbal and provide motivation for the team. But to do that, first thing you have to do is manage yourself. You have to be in a good place mentally where you have to manage yourself first. And if you can manage yourself, now you can go out and step up and help other people get better. So Miles has to lead when things are going well, and more importantly, lead when things aren't going well for him. So that's the key to any leader. When things aren't going well, can you step outside of your state of mind and still lead the team? And he's made steps in that direction, so hopefully that will continue.